Hey guys, well, we've been back from our trip for a week today. And if you watched my tour on Next Level Gardening, you saw that not everything went according to plan. For the most part, everything worked out. I've been working out here in the cottage garden, kind of clearing out all of the things that died. The sweet peas was a big one. I'm deciding what I'm gonna do with the vegetable garden. It might be in for a complete overhaul. Throw in some more summer crops while I've still got the time. But right now, the name of the game is getting the pasture ready for Daisy. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll put a link to a video down below. However, yes, we are getting a dairy cow in December, so we've got some work to do to get everything ready for that. Bill was here yesterday with the tractor and he's coming back today, so he just left it here. I'll take you over there and show you what he did and what's still to come. It's just a little frame of reference. Up there is the house, or the patio, the big parking lot, patio cover, and the living room, windows. So down here is Noah's basketball court, and then right next to it, in this area here with all of these logs, we're gonna flatten out a large terrace here and make a simple barn. Again, here in our climate, cows don't need a heavy-duty structure. We have no freezing winters. Really what they need is a place to get out of the sun, give them some shade and rain, although I've heard from many people that cows just stand out in the rain and snow. So anyway, Bill came over yesterday, and if you remember, we had this huge pad of dirt that we were building a berm for a pond up there. That's going to be put on hold. Now some of that dirt has to come down here because apparently at this time of year, when it's building pools or something, we can't find fill dirt. So that project is going to be put on hold while we get the pasture ready. But he had already made a road that went down here and all the way over to the basketball court for the people who poured the asphalt. Yesterday, he cut this road a lot wider. As you can see, this drain pipe was actually out about here. So he took off this much more and then he moved it down here. So pretty much what's going to happen is we're going to take away this land within 12 feet of the patio up there. And that's going to give me background for our tropical garden. Then there'll be a cutoff just like this, except further back. And it'll start then just to gently slope down toward the fence. And then eventually all of this, when we get a well installed, will be grass. These eucalyptus here will be cut down probably in the winter. Daisy's gonna be a grass and hay fed cow only, no grain. And so to begin with, it's just going to be hay. And then once we get the pasture growing and the well dug, then we'll have, well, in the winter, it's naturally gonna be grassy because we have rain in the winter. Eventually though, we will get a well dug so that we can irrigate so that she will have grass year round. Now, it's only a half an acre. She's not gonna have 100% grass in her diet ever, just being on that half acre. She is a miniature cow, so she will not eat as much as normal cows, nor will she beat up the pasture with her hooves because she's not as heavy as a normal cow. She's half the size of a normal cow. Quick cut to the next day. Bill was here yesterday for several hours actually and got quite a bit of dirt moved. And yeah, you might be noticing I had to run in with a 2x4. If the hair came down to where it used to, might have had some padding. Anyway, yeah, hit my head on a 2x4. Emily happened to be swinging it at the time. Just kidding. I was actually training these vines back here on the fence and smacked it right there on the corner. Not the first time, won't be the last. So I'll take you over and show you what Bill did in a minute, but actually and you can't see it from this side, let me get around the back, but I finished the brick on the chimney. I still have a couple that had fallen off to stick back on. But finishing the chimney means I'm one step closer to finishing the roof. So yes, Bill moved a lot of dirt around. He actually unearthed part of our old septic system. He didn't realize it was our old septic system. He just started plowing up these perforated pipe, called me over a little bit freaked out, and I told him that this was the old leach lines that had been abandoned because of all the eucalyptus roots in this area. So we now have a very wide road instead of a narrow road, and the dirt goes all the way to the fence. Now, at this point here, he's taken off almost as much as I want him to, because we still need this space between here and the patio. All of this is going to be planted in tropical tall things to be a backdrop for the tropical garden up there. He can take off more right here, but that's not going to give him as much dirt as we need to fill in this area right here, to make it the same slope down to the fence at the bottom as well. Now, we do have all this dirt right here that was delivered that we could pull down in there. However, it's pretty compact and we kind of need this. That's already a very steep drop down, and we kind of need this pad to bring in more dirt. The dump trucks need to pack back onto that. So at the moment, we are putting our feelers out there for more fill dirt, and so we're on hold until I can find some more of that. Now, coming home from Hawaii, I knew I was going to be inspired artistically, because I always am whenever we go there, and generally that means coming home and painting or starting a tropical garden. Now, before I left, I know I mentioned that I wasn't going to be able to start a tropical garden because I had to get the pasture ready for Daisy. Well, most of that really falls on Bill and just me getting more dirt. So Emily's working on getting more dirt. And so because we have these hot days in the middle, I'm doing most of my work in the morning and the evening. Last night I was out here till dark. I couldn't see anymore. And so that leaves me the middle portion of the day to do something indoors. So I bought a new easel and I'm going to be starting painting again, which I'm really excited about. But just as exciting, I am going to be getting started at least on the tropical garden. And I've already started. We found the tree that I wanted to be kind of the anchor for this section here, and that is a Cassia leptophylla, or gold medallion tree. And this is going to get probably about 25 to 30 feet tall and the same amount wide. And so I'm not sure if you can see here, I have started excavating. First of all, I got a little bit excavated in the middle to plant the tree. But then around it, I've started to dig off. The first 6 inches or so of this patio is decomposed granite and gravel. And so I'm just gonna make this bed right now because I needed to plant the tree, and I've got all of these tropicals over here kind of waiting to be planted somewhere. So even though it may not be their final location, this will give me a little bit of ground out here to get them in and started, even though I might need to transplant them later. But the cool part about this is I'm doing 2 jobs at once. All of this gravel and decomposed granite that I'm taking off, I'm just wheeling it right next door to the Mediterranean garden to mulch the beds. I really wanted a dry kind of riverbed look to this area. And it's also given me gravel to put in the paths. So that's gonna save me at least $1,000 on gravel, maybe more. All right, so one of my worst fears sort of came true the other day. I had just come outside very quickly without paying attention to my surroundings. Came out the door, I was taking out the trash, which is right down there. So I didn't notice anything crazy on the way out. However, on the way back in, I was just walking this way and I was stopped in my tracks. And right there, kind of half on the tile, half off, go ahead and look away if you're squeamish, was a snake. Now, I'm gonna say I'm real proud of myself because, so I first got a knot in my stomach and I stopped dead in my tracks. But then I looked at the tail, no rattles. I looked at the head, it was a gopher snake. And I knew that because I had seen one before, just not on the front porch. But he didn't seem to be bothered by me at all. I got my selfie stick out so I could put the GoPro on a long stick and kind of run it up his body. And when I got to his head, he didn't care. He didn't act aggressive or anything like that. And it's probably the same gopher snake I've seen further away from the house, because I think I read that gopher snakes stay within a 50-yard radius of they're always in that 50-yard radius. So we named him Sid. I felt like if we name him, maybe he won't be as scary. I don't know. That's just our thing. Oh, and a few days before that, I found another bit of wildlife. For the last few weeks, and maybe even prior to that, I had been seeing some little poops on the ground right by Scar's food bowl, and I thought maybe it was mice eating his leftover food. Well, I happened to be out here with a duster, like a bristly thing on a stick, and I was cleaning the spider webs out of this area, and all of a sudden something flew out. I thought it was a large moth. Well, it was a bat. He was actually sleeping between the roof and the rain gutter in just that tiny little crack there. And so he flew out and he flew over to another part of the roof, and I was hoping I didn't hurt him, but he seemed to be flying fine. And he kind of sat there for just a minute and then started flying again and went right back up in that crack and went back to sleep. So I haven't seen him back since. I probably scared him to death. But anyway, if I see those little poops again, I'll know he's back. I don't have a problem with it. He was super cute. He's, you know, he eats insects, they eat tons of mosquitoes, and that's always a great thing. So he is welcome here anytime. All right, enough talk. It's time to get to work. And hopefully by the next video, this chimney will be completely grouted. And by the video after that, we'll have the roof completely finished. And by the way, look for videos on the Homestead channel to be coming out a little more often now. See you next time.